All right, so the first thing that we are going to talk about is integers, and we are going to spend a few days working on these. Okay, so the first thing that we're looking at is adding integers together. Okay, now the whole time that we work at integers, here's what I want you to think when you think about positive and negative numbers. When you think of positive integers, I want you to think of them like they are buckets of water. Okay, so buckets of water for our positive integers. And I want you to think of our negative integers as fires. Okay, so when we think about this, think about what happens when you take a bucket of water and you dump it on a fire, right? When you do that, your bucket of water is gone and so is your fire, right? So a bucket of water and a fire cancel each other out in the same way that a positive integer and a negative integer cancel each other out. When you take a positive integer and you combine it with a negative integer, they both go away. They both get rid of each other. Okay? So each bucket of water, which I'm going to kind of draw a little picture. I'm not a very good artist. You're going to have to bear with me a little bit, but here's my bucket of water. So every bucket of water puts out one fire. And again, I'm not really a great artist, but you're going to have to bear with me a little bit. Okay, so here's like the logs and the fire. Sure, that looks good, right? Okay, so we got our buckets of water that put out fires. Okay, now I have a couple of little printed things that I'm going to use here. They look kind of ridiculous because my printer is apparently really low on ink. So I kind of colored on these to make them look a little bluer, but the fires are just kind of weird looking. But bear with me, okay? So let's take a look at how we can illustrate these. Okay, I'm going to draw a picture in just a second, but for right now, I'm going to use my little printouts. So what this is telling me to do is it's saying positive 5 plus negative 2. Okay, so positive 5, that is the same thing as if I have 5 buckets of water. Okay, so there's my 5 buckets of water. And then negative 2 is like having 2 fires. Okay, so that's what this problem is telling me to do. It says do positive 5 plus negative 2. Okay, and then what's going to happen? Well, this bucket of water is going to put out this fire, right? So these guys are going to cancel each other out. And then this bucket of water is going to put out this fire. So these two are going to cancel each other out. And what am I left with? Well, I've got 3 buckets of water, which means, remember, buckets of water were positive numbers. So my answer is going to be positive 3. Okay? All right, so now I'm just going to draw a little picture of that. And it's not going to be perfect, but bear with me a little bit. So here's my fires. Oops, so I had 2 fires and I had 5 buckets of water. I forgot to draw those first, but here's my buckets of water. There's 3, 4, 5 of them, right? So I have 5 buckets of water and then I had 2 fires. And again, what happens is these guys canceled each other out because a bucket of water will cancel with a fire. Okay, and that's it. That's how easy adding integers is, okay? I think sometimes when you first start learning about integers, they seem really hard and complicated, but they're really not bad if you think about them the right way. Okay, so let's look at this one, negative 3 plus negative 3. So negative 3, that means we're talking about fires, right? So there's 3 fires. And then we're doing plus another negative 3. So that is 3 more fires. Okay, well, what do I have now? When I look at these, are these two going to cancel each other out? No, if you add a fire to another fire, you just have more fire, right? They don't cancel each other out. So when I look at all this, nothing's going to cancel out. And what am I going to be left with? Well, I've got 6 fires here, and fires are negative numbers. So my answer is negative 6. Okay? All right, and then I'm going to draw my picture here. So I've got 3 fires. And then I've got another 3 fires. And again, nothing cancels out because fires don't cancel themselves out, right? 2 fires just make more fire. All right, good. Now let's look at these next 2 examples. So down here, negative 4 plus 1. So negative 4, that means 4 fires. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 fires. And then positive 1, that's 1 bucket of water. Okay, so what happens in this situation? You've got enough water to put out 1 fire, right? So this bucket of water is going to put out that fire. That's gone. And then that's it. There's nothing else that'll cancel out. So what's my answer going to be? I've got 3 fires left, and fires, remember, are negative numbers. So my answer is going to be -3. Okay, so for my picture, here's my 4 fires. Kind of weird looking, but bear with me, they're fires. And then I had 1 bucket of water. So there's my bucket of water. Okay, and this bucket of water canceled out that fire. So those cancel each other out, and that's how I got my -3. All right, last one over here, -1 plus -2. So I have 1 fire, and then I have 2 fires. Okay, and what happens when I look at this? Well, 1 fire and 2 more fires. Is anything going to cancel out? Nope, nothing cancels. So I just have 3 fires left over. So my answer is going to be -3 because I have 3 fires. Okay, and then when I draw my picture, here's 1 fire. Oops, sorry, I didn't need that one. And then 2 more fires. Nothing cancels because remember, only a bucket of water can put a fire out. So that's it. That's our answer. Okay, so that is how easy adding positive and negative numbers is. You don't need to worry about, well, if this one's bigger, then you do this. And if they're the same sign, then you do this. And if they're different signs, then you do this. That all just makes it really complicated. You know how to do integers. You just got to think about them the right way. So just think about it like fires and buckets of water, and you're not going to have any problem with this.